Hello, Patriots. Welcome to the Ryan Samuel Show. We have another great, awesome, and incredible episode here. Packed full of news, no shortage of news. Once again, the Venezuela drug war escalates as Donald Trump deploys an aircraft carrier to Venezuela. We already have 4,000 Marines, a Marine Expeditionary Force out in the sea, ready to annihilate at the president's command. We have a liberal protest who turned out to be the definition of FAFO, which is F around and you're going to find out, tried to crash a U-Haul truck into members of the Coast Guard who opened fire on one of the protesters. And Kensington crackdown. The FBI has gotten subpoenas for 33 drug kingpins in Kensington. Kensington is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I have family from Philadelphia. We're all very happy that the FBI is going after Kensington. We have seen many a friend become susceptible to that area. It is essentially a place where you go buy drugs and the cops don't care, is essentially. But not anymore, thanks to the federal government stepping in and doing the job that the state should be doing. Those are the topics we are going to talk about. We will be right back.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuel Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuel Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
All right. So as most of you know, Donald Trump has declared that the drug cartels are terrorist organizations. This is a good thing. It opens up the president to a bunch of tools to stop this madness that's happening in our country. The drug epidemic is insane, and the war on drugs against the user has never been a good idea, and it's never done anything. We've never really done anything other than George H.W. Bush went after Noriega, drug cartel, similar thing. But going after the individual user or the low-level dealer doesn't really do anything. Even the high-level dealer, because as long as somebody can get supply, they're going to do it. So it doesn't matter. But going after the cartels is something we should have been doing from the beginning with the war on drugs. Now they're actually doing it. They're bombing these cartel boats. They're slowing the roll of drugs in the United States, and they've unleashed the FBI into Kensington, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But here is the video of the original clip of Trump signing the executive order declaring the drug cartels as terrorists.
This is actually an executive order designating the cartels and other organizations to be foreign terrorist organizations.
That's a big one.
Yes, sir.
People have wanted to do this for years. So they are now designated as terrorist organizations, foreign. And Mexico probably doesn't want that. But we have to do what's right. They're killing our people. They're killing 250, 300,000 American people a year. Not 100, like has been reported for 15 years. It's probably 300,000.
This is actually an executive order designating the cartels.
Yeah, 100,000, 300,000 people are being killed. And they're being killed by fentanyl overdoses and drug overdoses. It's something that needs to be handled. And it should have been handled a very long time ago. But of course, the left, what they are doing, they are trying to covertly oppose Donald Trump by supporting the cartels.
President has, I think for many years, expressed the idea that we should be thinking of using the military to fight this war against these, I believe they're terrorist organizations. As Jim said, I mean, so many hundreds of thousands of Americans have died. We've had an invasion of illegal immigration, and we've also had an invasion of drugs. Are we going to hurt somebody's feelings? I mean, I'm a little more worried about the hurt feelings of the American families who've lost all these hundreds of thousands of people to this fentanyl and other terrible drugs. Now, to the point about diplomatic relations, what would be best is if Mexico would work with the United States to help take these people out as quickly and as fast as possible. It's not good for them to be warehousing these people and doing nothing about it, and it's not good for us to have it coming into the country. So could there be a situation where we work together to take these people out? That would be a good thing. So
you're saying that the Mexican
That's going to be improbable because they are compromised. You don't get elected into the Mexican government's leadership unless the cartels approve it.
government hasn't been trying to fight the drug cartels for 50 years.
Trying and failing?
You're saying that we haven't been working with them for 50 years?
It's a failure. Go talk to any American family who's been to a funeral over this.
Yeah, but isn't Trump the master of giving you the wrong answer to the right questions? Like, we have a problem with our cooperation with Mexico, so let's just trash our cooperation with Mexico.
Should we just do what we're doing for another 50 years?
Well, do we think
That's another
people?
Scott Jennings straw man. You're all straw man. It's just like, should we do nothing?
No,
should we do everything?
you're all weakness.
Let's
just keep doing what we're doing.
And
let's kill untold numbers of Americans.
Nobody wants that. No.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Of course they don't. Of course they don't. They just don't want Trump to have a victory over the drug cartels. Now, Trump deployed the Marine Expeditionary Force to the coast of Venezuela. We covered it on this show. It was months ago. Now he has deployed the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, to the area. So, listen, the one thing you need to understand about the United States Navy is their fleets are insane. They're illogically overpowering. Like, illogically. Like, you could not possibly fathom how insanely powerful a naval fleet is. So one aircraft carrier is bigger than like 90% of countries in the world's entire navy. It's unfathomable. I can't speak today. It's impossible to believe the power that one of them has. Okay. Here is a story from CNN. President Trump is considering plans to target cocaine facilities and drug trafficking routes inside Venezuela, though he has not yet made a decision on whether to move forward with them. 3 U.S. officials told CNN. Outward signs on Friday pointed toward a major potential military escalation, with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordering the Navy's most advanced aircraft carrier strike group, currently stationed in Europe, to the Caribbean region amid a massive buildup of U.S. forces there. Trump has also authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations in Venezuela. They've been doing this for quite some time. Trump wouldn't be able to make the moves he's been making without CIA assets on the ground, NSA assets on the ground. Our military special operations units are also there on the ground. We have tactical advantages. We know what's going on. The president has not ruled out taking a diplomatic approach with Venezuela to stem the flow of drugs into the U.S., 2 officials said. Even after the administration cut off active talks with Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro in recent weeks, Venezuela is not known to be a major source of cocaine, but the Trump administration has been aggressively trying to link Maduro to the drug trade. There are plans on the table that the president is considering regarding operations on targets inside Venezuela, one administration official told CNN, adding that he hasn't ruled out diplomacy. A second official, who has been directly involved in some of the discussions, argued that there are many proposals that have been suggested to the president. A third official said that the planning is happening across the government, but the focus at the highest levels is currently going after the drugs inside Venezuela. Trump has escalated his rhetoric on potential land strikes inside Venezuela in 3 days, while the U.S. military steadily carries out strikes on alleged drug boats in international waters. Alleged drug boats. I love how CNN will do anything to degrade Donald Trump. And like anything good he does, they will try to turn it into a bad thing. So these are some of the things that have been deployed to the Caribbean for Venezuela. The United States has deployed more than 4,500 Marines and sailors. That is plenty. That is more than you could ever need to take over the entire country of Venezuela. I can promise you that. Along with a significant portion of its naval and air assets in the Caribbean to strengthen operations against cartels and demonstrate military power in the region. The USS Iwo Jima, a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship, USS Fort Lauderdale, amphibious transport dock, USS San Antonio, USS Lake Erie, USS Gravely, USS Jason Dunham, a destroyer, USS Stockdale, MV Ocean Trader, special operations ship, USS Minneapolis St. Paul, the USS Newport News, a nuclear attack submarine, V-22 Osprey, Seahawk, UH-60 Blackhawk, MQ-9 Reaper, P-8 Poseidon, those are submarine hunters, the F-35 Raptor, 10 of them, Harrier jet, T-38 Talon, supersonic jet trainer, C-17 Globemaster, large military transport aircraft, B-52 Stratofortress, long-range strategic bomber, C-130J, Super Hercules, tactical aerial refueling and transport, AC-130 Ghost Rider, heavily armed fixed-wing gunship, KC-46 Pegasus, C-5 Super Galaxy, KC-135 Strato tanker, more than 4,500 Marines and sailors. Right? So combat Marines, you got a whole company of Marines there. So it's not 4,000 Marines, but a company and a battalion of Marines is plenty to take over Venezuela. Venezuela is very weak. The only shot that they would have would be a guerrilla-style warfare, which I'm not sure the people of Venezuela are going to be very capable of doing. They don't want to. They don't like Maduro. They live under a regime that they're not happy with. They live under it's been infiltrated and ran by the drug cartels. It's not a very good situation that people want to be a part of. So in order to have like really good hardcore guerrilla warfare, you need a heart in the fight. You need a soul in the fight. Like, so the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong were very good at this. They were very good at guerrilla warfare because they really had a profound love of country and nation and saw the United States as foreign invaders, and they were protecting their homeland. Where they were very good at their strategic warfare and their guerrilla warfare. You're not going to see that in Venezuela. You'll have some people here, some people there, but you're definitely not going to have the citizens arming up against the United States. Number one, it's stupid. It's not going to go anywhere. You're just going to die. Who wants to die for a drug cartel, right? There's a difference between fighting for your religion and there's a difference between fighting for your money. Let's watch this clip from Fox News discussing this situation.
Fox News alert, we're at war. This enemy, they don't wear a uniform. They're moving fentanyl by the truckload.
I want you to look at the contraband that's in front of me. We have 20 kilograms of fentanyl that's in front of me on this table. That's enough to kill 10 million people. The work that we do is to protect people and make sure that we remove these weapons and drugs off of our streets and hold those criminals accountable who would go forward and continue to use that to harm individuals.
Cartels are now officially in the Pentagon's crosshairs. And it's not just the wall anymore. Trump ordered the kill shot. The days of local drug busts and random motels, they were fun, but that's Breaking Bad stuff. Trump wants to take the fight to El Chapo's front yard.
We're talking about sending military forces to fight against the drug cartels in Latin America. Do you think it's worth sending our forces, our U.S. forces there to take this on?
Cartels where?
Central Latin America.
Well, Latin America's got a lot of cartels. They've got a lot of drugs flowing. So, we want to protect our country. We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years. And we love this country like they love their countries. We have to protect our country. So, we're playing a tough game.
According to the New York Times, behind the scenes, Trump's moving all the pieces into place to pull this off. Mexico's got a big problemo.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with Mexican territory. It has to do with their country. It does not involve our territory.
So it would be within the United States?
Within the United States.
So what's happening is that these cartels are moving the drugs from Venezuela to Mexico and then shipping it into the United States or smuggling it over the border. Over in Joe Biden, that's what we had. Mexico's got a problem because the Mexican government is beholden to the United States. We're not going to any further tolerate that sort of behavior. Mexico is going to have to step up their game with these cartels. To say that Mexico's been trying to get rid of cartels for 50 years is an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke. They're on the take. The cartel members are part of the government. The cartel members kidnap politicians, their children, threaten them. It's a nightmare. They're not actually trying. They're pretending to try and then using microphones to say that they are, but they're not actually trying.
Exactly.
El Presidente doesn't comprehende. This isn't a Mexican standoff. This is an order. The CIA is already flying surveillance drones over Mexican territory, gathering intel on the battle space. And Trump's not sending diplomats. He's sending Hegseth, maybe with a new title.
Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, Department of Defense, Department of War.
Well, that's what it was for many, many years. You gave me that knife hand, Will. We'll see. Stand by. I don't get in front of the commander-in-chief on that. But our job is to ensure our enemies know exactly what they will do to them if they threaten us, up to and including total war. So we'll be prepared. Stand by. There might be some news on that.
This is about protecting the homeland from groups like the Sinaloa cartel. They import fentanyl from China and traffic it into the United States. Look at that. Trump designated them terrorists. And if they get cute, they're getting Soleimani'd.
You know who did the roadside bomb, right? Soleimani. Where is he? Where is he?
Former U.S. Army Special Forces and president of World Strat, Jim Hansen. Jim, what kind of operations do you envision happening in Central and South America in this cartel war?
Jesse, I don't think anybody would be more thrilled than me to watch some helmet cam footage of a bunch of JSOC pipe hitters rappelling out of helicopters and stacking cartel members like cordwood. Now, that's the ultimate. I don't know that we'll probably open with that. You know, there's likely to be a lot of increased surveillance. There may be some raids to pick up some people to arrest and put on trial. There'll be some interdiction off the coasts. The Navy can cover a lot more territory than the Coast Guard can, and together they can cover both the exfil from Central and South America and the infill to us. So there's a lot of things to start with, but this is a tremendous step they're taking.
All right, so they could seize some guys off the field and bring them here and put them on trial. Could they also just drone strike these cartel bad guys?
Yes.
Right in their backyard?
Yes, and that's what's coming very soon. Right now, they're bombing boats that are en route to the United States or to Mexico. That's what they're doing. It's all over the place. They're bombing these boats, and then the left is like, oh, they're bombing fishermen. Shut up. They're drug smugglers. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to start bombing the drug cartel camps. They're going to start burning the fields, dropping freaking napalm on the poppy fields. They're not going to allow this to happen any further.
You know, that's a lawyer question, but I'm going to give you the common sense answer. If their cartels are killing people in the United States and the MS-13 and Trendaragua gangs are, why can't we kill their leaders just the same way President Trump pointed out we took care of Soleimani?
That would be an imminent threat, right? I mean, if these guys are cooking up all this fentanyl and sending it into the cities and people are acting like zombies and keeling over, that's an imminent threat to the life and well-being of the American citizenry.
Absolutely. And I think the rationale we use for other terrorists we've killed through multiple administrations, Barack Obama still, I think, holds the record for the number of people killed overseas by drone strikes, including one U.S. citizen. So I think President Trump deciding that these guys who are definitely killing Americans with drugs, torturing and running people with human trafficking and child trafficking, those are things that I think all of America can look at and say, we don't need to allow that. And anything we do to them is probably justified at this point.
Yeah, and I mean that's precisely what's going to happen, and we're seeing this war fought on two separate ends now. We're seeing the cartel members, and we're also seeing the FBI taking some serious steps in Kensington. Now, the Kensington is, I got very strong ties to Philadelphia. My dad was born and raised in Upper Darby. My Uncle Jack still lives there. My aunts live there. My cousins live there. My sisters live there. The majority of my family lives there. And there's one thing that we all have in common that we all don't like about Philadelphia, that any good, right, and just upstanding person can't stand about Philadelphia, is Kensington. Kensington is an area in Philadelphia that is an open air drug market. That's all it is. It's just in Kensington, you can go to Kensington and just buy drugs on the street, do drugs on the street, and fall over and pass out, and the police will not do anything. This is one of those liberal programs where they want you to go ahead and do drugs and not be in fear of going to jail for doing drugs. It's insane. It's stupid. It's illogical. And it's freaking crazy. And the drug problem in Philadelphia is probably one of the worst in the country because the drug laws are not enforced on people or dealers. We know many people that have fell victim to this process in Philadelphia. Somebody in Philly, one of my family members who knows a family member who has a friend or whatever. I'm not talking specifics. I'm just saying we all know somebody who's a friend of the family who got addicted to drugs in Philadelphia because it's such a problem that the mayor and the police or nobody does anything about. Here's just some videos of Kensington. This is it. You go to Kensington and this is what you see. Just junkies on the street, zombies high on fentanyl, laying there, buying drugs, shooting up, sleeping. Look at this. This is real footage. And this isn't just one person here, one person there. This is everywhere. There's like 30 or 40 people every 4 feet who are walking around like zombies. And the city does nothing about it. Who this giant gaggle? You mean to tell me, I'm a former police officer. I could walk up there and find drugs on everybody in there and lock them up. All of them. Get them off the street. In Philadelphia, they actually have some really good programs if you get arrested for drugs, where instead of going to jail, they'll order that you go get you'll go to drug rehab and you'll detox, and it's court ordered. You have to do it. So why are the cops not doing anything? Why would you want this on your streets? Just look at it. It's everybody. It's everybody. And this Philadelphia is the original capital of the United States. It's the beginning of this country. It's where the Constitution was drafted. And if you go to the historic district, there's nothing there anymore. All the stores are closed. It's a friggin' dump. Where like Benjamin Franklin's house is. Like, they try to keep it a little clean. It's nothing like Kensington. But still, the whole city is a frickin' disaster. Here's more footage. Just look at these people. Like, look at this lady's just got a picture frame. Like, where'd you get that? You're going to sell it so you can get drugs? Trash, garbage. And the whole city knows about it, and the whole city can't stand it. But again, they don't do anything about it. Here's another clip. This is August 8th of 2025. A couple months ago.
Damn.
August 6th.
Yeah, your head was in the ground, sis. You gonna be all right? Yeah. This person just laid out like that. You sleeping? Just check on the wellness check, that's all. All right, thank you.
How could you run a city and do nothing about this? How? It's everywhere. It's hundreds of people, thousands of people.
Hello? You need help?
Thousands and thousands of citizens. And I listen to me. I know you look at these people, and some of you think these are the low people of society. These people need help. For whatever reason, they something happened in their lives where they wound up in this situation. A lot of these people come from good homes. A lot of them do. Here's another clip. This is June 9th.
Yeah, be careful, fam. The cops is giving people citations for being over here. They call it blocking the sidewalk. I got one a week ago, so y'all just be careful, all right?
That's what the cops are doing. They're giving them citations for blocking the sidewalk.
Yeah, our sister is fine. Our sister, sis, she fine? You think she's all right?
She's all right.
Y'all gonna watch her?
Yeah, we'll get her.
Just trying to make sure you're alive, dear. You're safe out here, dear. Bro, you're gonna fall off your bike. Yo. You alright? You ain't gonna fall off your bike, right, brother? Brother, you're gonna get a hunchback the longer you stay like that. Just giving you a heads up.
So this guy's got a YouTube channel, and this is what he does, and he tries to help people. And then they have these tent camps. How hard is it to go in there? I'm trying to pull it up. How hard is it to go in here and tell these people, like, yo, we're taking your tents. You can't live here. Everybody pack up and leave. Everybody pack up and leave. But they don't do that in these democratic cities. They're freaking zombies. Look at them. Here's the Philadelphia Fire Department. They're just coming to pick people up off the streets.
Okay.
How much does that cost? How much does that cost the taxpayers of Philadelphia? All over every city street in Kensington.
Hello, Sam. It's very nice to see you again.
Hey,
You're
guys.
speaking with USA Fox. I changed my name. I used to be with All Time Media. It's USA Fox now. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, buddy, very much.
Well, see you again, actually.
I don't think you actually met me.
For the people who didn't see your last interview, can you give them an update? Let them know how old you are, where you're from, Sam?
Yeah, of course. I'm from South Philly originally, and I'm 29 years old. I've been out here on the streets for like 5 years now, maybe five and a half. But only thing different now is I'm not doing dope no more. I'm mostly boxing. But I'm still smoking crack.
That's good. You say you're not using anymore?
Not dope, no.
Not dope?
No more dope. Just smoking crack. But like, I know it don't sound like any better. I'm not trying to sound any better, but like, at least I'm not doing dope no more.
No, that's
I feel
progress. That's progress.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And Cash Patel, they made an announcement today about the drug busts that they're doing in Kensington. The FBI did this. Let's watch.
Let's do it. You guys did all the work. Come around. All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be here in North Philadelphia today. What you see amassed in front of you is what happens when you let good cops be cops, when you let interagency, state and local police work together to rid our cities of the harmful plague of drug trafficking organizations and gang violence. And there's an important distinction to be made. Yesterday I was in the White House with the President for the Homeland Security Task Force. And while that lift is being done at the international level to wipe out drug trafficking organizations and gang violence, our urban cities from Los Angeles to Philadelphia, New York, and everywhere in between are being plagued by localized street gangs and gang violence and drug trafficking organizations. Once the drugs and guns come in, they need an outfit to deliver them to our communities. And we needed to attack those outfits. And the reason I wanted to come to Philadelphia today is because this takedown, brought to you by the men and women standing behind me and their wonderful teams, the Philadelphia Police Department, the FBI, and the United States Attorney's Office, are bringing to bear what law enforcement can do when you unleash them and let them go after the criminals that are destroying our communities, that are harming our civilization, and that are hurting our children.
Precisely. Had the police been allowed to do this, Kensington would not have been like this for years. Like, this has been going on forever in Philadelphia. And the Trump administration is not tolerating it anymore. They're sending National Guard troops in to places like Chicago, Los Angeles. Now the FBI is taking care of Kensington because the liberal politicians are not handling it. The liberals, they're soft on crime. And when you let police do their job, they can do it effectively.
This Weymouth Street Gang is not just one instance of removing a couple of people. It is an example of how you remove an entire organization that is corrupting not just the city of Philadelphia, but the state of Pennsylvania as well. And I felt it extremely important to come in here and say, not only are we removing guns and gang members and robbers and firearms, we are removing an entire coordinated section of gang violence permanently off the streets. And that's how you deliver a victory for the people of Philadelphia, the people of Pennsylvania, and the people of America. I'm so proud and humbled to be joined here today by these wonderful representatives from the police force, from the FBI, and a shout out to the Department of Justice and our United States Attorney Metcalf here. You need courageous prosecutors to bring these cases. You need people that aren't going to say no, that are going to bend the knee, that are going to say, oh, it's too hard to bring this case. It's too difficult to collect the evidence. When you hear the details of this case, everyone in America should be looking at this takedown. This takedown is how you safeguard American cities from coast to coast. This takedown is an interagency process, years in the making. Extensive legal service and process was executed here, correctly done to make sure that the integrity of the investigation is upheld and the criminals are put into the legal system and brought before a judge and a jury, and they will have their rightful day in court. But the overarching importance of this case and this takedown is this is exactly how you safeguard American lives. You go after the organizations that are inflicting pain across America in each and every city. And this is my tenure as FBI director. This is one of the largest and most impressive gang takedowns that I have ever seen. So I felt it important to come here and just shake the hands of the brave men and women that did this work. I did not have much of a role in this operation. The FBI brought in an incredible amount of assets to include HRT and SWAT teams, tactical teams to hit houses at the same time. The level of coordination that goes into just the takedown is a small reflection of the level of coordination and planning that goes into making a case like this happen. We have permanently removed a drug trafficking organization out of the streets of Philadelphia, and they're going to stop pouring guns and chemicals and drugs into our communities, and our children are safer today. So I just want to thank the men and women of law enforcement, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and of course, the proud men and women of the FBI who are leading the charge across this country. If anyone out there is watching in your streets, in your communities, this is how you stop gang violence. Thank you.
Yes. You let the cops do what the cops are supposed to do, and you won't have these frickin' issues. Hey, Joel, thanks for the comment, man. Appreciate you on the show. But you let the cops do what the frickin' cops are going to do. They know how to do it.
Thank you, Director. It's an honor to have you here today. My name is David Metcalf. I'm the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. I'm pleased to be joined by Special Agent in Charge Wayne Jacobs for the FBI, Special Agent in Charge Todd Hodnett with the DEA. We're also joined by the Pennsylvania Attorney General's Office, Kirsten Hine, and Chief of Criminal Investigations, John Kissinger. And of course, we're always pleased to have Commissioner Bethel here. It's an honor to have you here, sir, as well. Today we are announcing a historic indictment. This case involves 33 defendants. It's a massive drug trafficking conspiracy spanning nearly a decade, involving tremendous volumes of fentanyl and narcotics. And it takes place at the epicenter of the opioid crisis here in the Kensington neighborhood of Philadelphia. This indictment by defendant is the largest federal indictment this century brought by our district. And like a precision missile, it has been targeted for maximum impact where it needed to go. As I said, at the heart of the opioid scourge here in Kensington. As of this morning, 29 defendants are in custody, thanks to a successful operation by the FBI and our other law enforcement partners. Throughout the course of the coordinated takedown, as well as the investigation overall, we've been able to recover dozens of firearms off the street, including assault rifles, seize substantial volumes of fentanyl and narcotics at locations associated with the defendant. This case takes place at the crossroads of drugs and violence, and we are all here with a loud and unmistakable message that we are reclaiming these neighborhoods for the people who live and work here. We are taking back what the defendants are alleged to have stolen from the community, which is peace, prosperity, law, and order.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
As the director's presence here today indicates, this case is special. It's one of those few cases which, if successful, will eliminate an entire criminal outfit. It will clean and cleanse a whole neighborhood and will virtually eradicate a violent drug trafficking organization root and stem. To be clear, every defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty. An indictment is only an allegation. And this indictment alleges that the Weymouth Street drug trafficking organization, for nearly a decade, sold and distributed substantial volumes of fentanyl, crack cocaine, and heroin, mostly in the 3100 block of Weymouth Street.
How the hell do you get away with that with drug addicts falling asleep on the sidewalk for 10 years?
Made their living in one of the most notorious and prolific segments of an open-air drug market here in Kensington. They ran it like a business, but they also ran it, as the director alluded to, by violence, by fear, and by threats. They enforced their territory through the threats of assaults, shootings, and murder. They threatened anyone who talked to or cooperated with law enforcement. They were armed. The indictment further alleges that this DTO was led by Jose Antonio Morales Nieves, aka Flaco, a 45-year-old man from Puerto Rico, but a frequent flyer here in Philadelphia, who essentially owned the 3100 block of Weymouth Street and allowed other members of the DTO to sell drugs on the block in exchange for a payment of rent. He was joined by Roman Montañez, 40-year-old from Philadelphia, who essentially ran the day-to-day operations of the Weymouth Street DTO. He collected revenue, he organized the schedules of the workers, and orchestrated a pretty sophisticated business enterprise that peddled in poison. He also was responsible for procuring the drug supply for the organization. And on that score, I'll note that the indictment alleges that this organization did not care how dangerous the drugs were that they peddled to customers. Mr. Montañez wanted it as strong and as powerful as possible. In fact, the indictment alleges that at one point, one DTO member acknowledged the deadly nature of the drugs they were selling, and yet the DTO continued to sell it day by day, month after month, for nearly a decade. Fortunately, both of these men and most of their compatriots are now in the custody of the FBI, awaiting federal prosecution. I encourage all of you to read the indictment. It is now unsealed, and I couldn't possibly encapsulate and summarize all of the offense conduct in just a press conference, but it is truly staggering. As I mentioned, this case is special. I, as the U.S. Attorney, obviously represent the office and I lead it, but as a career prosecutor, I'd be remiss if I didn't give true credit where it belongs, which is to the line prosecutors and agents who built the case. And you only build a case like this with skill and ferocity, and day by day working it up to build a case that truly makes a difference. A case that is a long-term, comprehensive annihilation of a criminal organization. Those don't come around a lot. And I'll also say this couldn't be done without Commissioner Bethel and the Philadelphia Police Department. When you have a case like this and you have a significant federal indictment, I sometimes think there's this misconception that is a purely federal case. And that's just not true. You can't build a case like this, of this magnitude and scale, without the support of the Philadelphia Police Department. You can't do it without the resources they provide, and more importantly, the intelligence. And on that,
of course. But they could have done it the entire time over the past 10 years, but they were not permitted to.
On that score, while I have everyone here, I'd like to talk about this case, but also talk more globally and strategically about what we're doing in this city to combat gun violence and drug trafficking. Because it's more than this case. This case is just an illustration and an example of that work. And what we're doing is the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office, FBI, DEA, HSI, ATF, and the Philadelphia Police Department have established an initiative, a violent crime initiative called PSN Recon. This is the violent crime initiative of the federal and state and law enforcement community to attack violence in this city going forward. PSN Recon is named after Project Safe Neighborhood, which is the department's existing program combating gun violence.
Great job. Great job. I am so happy. I am so proud. I can't believe that they did this. I can't. It always comes up in conversation with family members about Kensington, with people in Philly. I mean, everybody talks about it, man. And it's like for 10 years, imagine like you're paying taxes and you have police and investigators, detectives, undercover narcotic agents, and nobody does anything about these group of guys that are dealing drugs, controlling a neighborhood.
Afternoon, and the big story on Action News at noon is breaking right now. The FBI is carrying out this raid in Kensington. Chopper 6 is live over the scene. You see all the agents there in the middle of the street. This is the area of Weymouth Street and Allegheny Avenue. Now, Weymouth is shut down between Allegheny and Clearfield.
Sources tell Action News the raid is related to a drug investigation. Members of the FBI Violent Crime Task Force and Philadelphia police are there on the scene right now. As you can see, investigators can be seen going in and out of the home here on the 3100 block of Weymouth Street. They first responded to Kensington just over an hour.
Afternoon, and the big story on Action News at noon is
33 people. An entire drug organization just massacred. They are no more. It's over. Here's a statement from the FBI. There is no question our streets are safer today because of the tireless dedication and diligence of numerous federal, state, and local partners, but our work is not done. The FBI, alongside with our law enforcement partners at every level, will continue to serve our citizens by pursuing the dangerous offenders who shatter our communities' sense of safety, security, and quality of life. Wayne Jacobs, Special Agent in Charge, FBI, Philadelphia. Outstanding. You know, the FBI pressured the local and the Trump administration pressured the Philadelphia police that we need to get this handled. Donald Trump is sending in the National Guard across the country. You don't think that this was a conversation that they had with Philadelphia that said, you can either help us handle this or we're going to do it for you. And we're going to send the National Guard in and we're going to frickin' destroy your life and your soul and this drug cartel. 100%. Of course they did. We're going to continue to follow that case. Hopefully now, the problem is there's a power vacuum. So now the people who ran Kensington are just 100% out of business and there's nobody else dealing drugs. So there's going to be people all over the place. We need a strong police presence there and make sure that we're implementing programs where we're stopping people, suspicious persons. No more people sleeping on the street. Take them off the streets. Get them out of there. Get them into rehab. Get them in a hospital. Do what you got to do. But it's time to clean up Philadelphia. I was so disappointed the last time I went. It was getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I took a bunch of videos. I could find them, but they're on my phone. I can't get them on the show right now. But of just all of the stores that are freaking closed and just how bad it's gotten. And it's a conversation that I talk about every time I talk to my family in Philly. I'm in Florida, but I talk to them. I'm like, man. And every time I go up there, it's freaking worse and worse and worse. And I love it. I love Philadelphia, man. There's nothing like a great friggin' cheesesteak. Going to the historic district, Benjamin Franklin's house, the Revolutionary War Museum. Like, that is like the greatest place on earth. In other news, the left-wing libtards are at it again. They're protesting in Oakland, California at the Coast Guard. Here's a clip. And something like tragic happened that needed to happen. But let's listen to this.
Back up, back up, back up.
Yeah, so the Coast Guards are Nazis. Everybody's a Nazi. Anybody who doesn't deal with them are Nazis. Nazis. Racist. Right. These are members of the United States military. There's different rules of engagement for these people. All right? It's different than the federal officers. A military person's post is his castle, right? If you're standing post, you have your general orders, you have your rules of engagement, and you are in charge of your post. I learned this in the military when I would stand post, and if a general or a captain or a colonel or anybody above me came to my post and they wanted entry, they had to follow a certain set of guidelines. Their ranks did not matter. This is my post. You want to enter this facility, there's certain things you have to abide by. Number one, if you're standing guard at a gate to a base, the officer, you show them respect of their rank. They present their ID, they verify who they are, and then you salute them and let them in, right? That's a thing. But the general doesn't get to say, I'm not showing you my ID, you're going to let me in and order you. There's certain things that are unlawful orders. The military is completely different, right? There's definitely an individual authority that exists. You do not encroach on a military member's post. If you do, they will kill you. They will be justified in killing you, and they will get an award for killing you. That's how it goes. The left doesn't understand that. So one of these idiots decides to take a U-Haul truck and try to ram it into these Coast Guard members. Let's watch this. Not very friggin' smart. That's not something you get to do. Here's a better and more clear video you can see and hear a little bit better. They're in a U-Haul truck. They're backing up. Lawful commands to stop. Lawful commands to stop. Stop the vehicle. Stop the vehicle. Stop the vehicle. They're not going to move. You will not get on their post. Executed very well. They all stood on line, watched their muzzle flash. But notice one thing. Notice the discipline. He's backing up. They're firing. He stops. They continue to fire. He pulls forward, and what do? They stop firing. Gonna mute that for the music. But you're like these left-wing radical protesters need to understand you have a right to protest. You have a right to peacefully assemble. You have that right. You do not have the right to project violence. Backing up into them like you're going to hit them is violence. And they have a right to stop that violence. This person was clearly apprehended. But now we have an administration in the federal government that what they're doing is they're allowing you to do that. And you have the president and the vice president and Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, and Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, the highest and most powerful people in the country saying, do your job. They encroach in your post, you kill them. That's how it's always been. I guarantee you J.D. Vance is going to say they acted within the law. They acted within our guidelines. They acted within their rules of engagement. And I'll tell you what's not going to happen now. The rest of the protesters are not going to try to cross that line. You have a right to peacefully assemble, not to attack our own military. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Ryan Samuels, host of The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. You can listen to this full podcast on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, whatever you listen to it on. It's an hour long, Monday through Friday. From 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, every once in a while on TikTok when I'm not banned. So make sure you download the podcast in the morning, listen to it to and from work. It's a great show. We've been endorsed by Donald Trump Jr. We've had some very high-profile guests on, a lot more to come. Make sure you visit ryanfsamuels.com/shop and check out the great merchandise. And we will see you on Monday. God bless you. God bless our troops. And God bless this great, wonderful country, the United States of America. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.